So today, I want to talk about our obsession with productivity and how we seem to be on all the time without giving ourselves a break. On my offline days, sometimes I have hours, 1 or 2 hours, 3 sometimes, where I don't do anything at all. I sit there and I let my mind process, digest, and make connections that it otherwise wouldn't be able to do, which is called the default mode network. This is something that I've been fascinated by lately. I've been thinking that it's logical that our culture has been, conditioned, especially the Western culture, has been conditioned to think productivity all the time, especially since the Industrial Revolution. But with the consequences that we have been going through lately in people's tendencies to burn themselves out, fatigue, and also mental disruption, I think in the 21st century, what we need the most is to be able to turn our tendencies towards productivity off. In my own life, what that looks like is I've been doing, offline days and balanced my internet time for many years now, 5 years. I say that in almost all my videos. But for many years, I've also taken the time to just turn everything off, not physically, but activity-wise, to just sit there and do nothing for an hour or two and let my mind and body reboot. I know that there are a lot of positive health benefits of being able to turn yourself off. As I said, the default mode network, your mind's ability to daydream, make connections, digest and process situations that have happened throughout the day or your life increases when you aren't always in creativity or productivity mode or consumption, which we do on the internet. Because you now have, and here I lost the footage, so I'll have to re-record. This is the format of this channel, I guess. My point was, you now have the ability and the opening to let your mind have something else than the stimulus of the internet and media to focus on. And when you give your mind and the brain space and time to have this opening, it will do what it naturally does best: to digest and process and make connections and connect dots and maybe do some shadow work and evolve. And I feel like we've lost this ability. People have lost their default mode network. We basically stuff our brain and our minds with constant input all the time. And of course, we're going to lose our innate ability to make sense of the world. I mean, psychosis is actually a consequence of a lost default mode network, I think. So that was my point. Now back to the video. If you have the ability for some hours a day, it doesn't have to be every day, of course, but some days a week, to just not do anything and just sit and let your mind wander and daydream, the ability that we had when we were children in our class, which is being stripped away from our classes and the school system. If you have the ability to do that, you essentially give yourself the power to be without any stimulants. And with stimulants, I mean, of course, the digital screen and the internet and media and things like that. But I also mean analog media. If you can be without analog media, whether that's a book or a board game or talking socially with friends, if you can be without these things and allow yourself to be with yourself without anything in particular happening, you have the ability to be with yourself on your own terms. And that's something that I think we're lacking in today's society. The ability to just sit, the ability to let the mind wander, the ability to process, digest without having anything to stimulate us, without having things stimulating us. Yeah, so in my own life, as I said, I spend 1 or 2 hours a day, not every day, of course, but sometimes just doing nothing. I also know that it affects, as I said, your body physically with a deeper sense of groundedness and rest that you otherwise wouldn't have gotten if you were, on the internet or media all the time. So this ability to do nothing, which can be anything really, after a workout, sit there. You've done your weights in the gym. Instead of going to the next thing right away, instead of going to producer mode right away, creating something, sit there, sit with yourself and just let yourself sit there in the weight room, observe people around you, observe your breath. You don't even have to be mindful, just do nothing and let yourself be with yourself. After you've come home from work, sit there, observe your surroundings, sit on the sofa, turn off the TV or the internet and just be with yourself. Just be for half an hour, 20 minutes, an hour. Be on the train of thought that is coming. In Holland, they call this niksen, the art of doing nothing. Apparently, they have this culture of doing nothing ingrained since they are children. And this is a contrast to the American culture where we have to be on all the time and get to the goal all the time, have aspirations, goals, ambitions, which are great. The Dutch have a culture of doing nothing, which seems counterproductive. There are some studies that say that people who do niksen, as the Dutch call it, or nothing, they're actually more productive in the long run because they have more energy. They've connected more dots in their minds, processed more, digested more. So they have more to give when they're producing again and creative again. So when you have an offline day, take some time off. Don't be on all the time. Turn off. Doing nothing is something we should be able to do. That's all I wanted to say. Hope you liked this video. I have a link in the description below for my book, Digital Balance, A Practical Guide, where I think I talk about this. At least a little bit in some paragraphs. And otherwise, I hope you support me. Peace.